Well, let's introduce you to one of those critical people who's been very closely associated with the conversion of Ayodhya into what we are seeing today. Dikshu Kukreja, he's a diplomat as well, consul general, represents India's interests on multiple global fora in several ways. And Mr. Kukreja now has donned the hat of his key business, which is that of an architect and a town planner. Dikshu, great pleasure for us to have you in our digital studios as well. Let me begin by asking you, what was the motivation? What was the driving vision for you to get associated with the Ayodhya project?
Thank you, Bhupendra. Pleasure to be with you and to talk about this real significant, iconic moment where Ayodhya, a city that the world is watching today with keen eyes and with great admiration, the transformation that is taking place. As far as our involvement is concerned, I thought, this is something which is very close to my heart. And that is about the celebration of Indian culture. And here is an opportunity that a city which is steeped in legacy and tradition and culture, there is a point where people are looking at reviving the city, transforming the city. And this can be a perfect example of how we need to celebrate India's diversity, India's culture, India's historical legacy, and not just ape the West. So here was an opportunity for us to get involved with the vision planning of this city, to be able to transform it into a world-class spiritual destination, a global tourist destination, and also, most importantly, I would say, be able to do this keeping in mind that the city has to be a sustainable development.
One constant comparison which has been made by the likes of Yogi Adityanath, the UP Chief Minister, and many others associated with Ayodhya, has been that this should become bigger than the Vatican City. Was this in any ways some reference point for you that this has to be as big, if not bigger, than the Vatican?
I can only say this much, Bhupendra, that it was very important for us that when we get onto such a significant task, we cannot play the role of an urban planner who is sitting in an ivory tower, who knows everything and decides to go about whitewashing the city. For us, it was very important to sensitively first do some case studies, to be able to do some research and analyze the strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures of global examples, similar examples, if I can call them that way, be it Vatican, be it Jerusalem, be it Angkor Wat, be it Pashupatinath, places which have been, the cornerstones have been that they are very important spiritual destinations. And likewise, there are examples in India as well, whether it's Tirupati, whether it's the Golden Temple, Kashi, and many more examples were something that we felt important to study before we embark on really seeing what and how Ayodhya needs to be transformed.
You look at spiritual destinations, or let's say places of religious significance, Hindu religious significance, say in northern parts of the country. Look at Haridwar, look at Kashi, and now look at Ayodhya. Are there similarities between the three, or would you say, given the fact that all these three towns that I'm talking about, they're all next to a river, Ganga, as far as Kashi and Haridwar is concerned, Saryu, as far as Ayodhya is concerned, what is the significance of the river for town planners when you start looking at spirituality and religiosity?
Well, I would even go further back, Bhupinder, and say that civilization has always been alongside rivers. I mean, rivers have been the cause and the purpose and the sustainable factor in civilizations, even if we go as far back as Indus Valley. So it's very important to recognize the role and significance of a river when it comes to even passing through a city. Unfortunately, I would say post-independent India turned its back, the cities turned their back towards rivers, and they literally became drains at best. And that was very unfortunate. In the case of Saryu River, we found here an opportunity that when we talk about sustainable planning and ecosystems, etc., let's just take the bedrock of this civilization, which is the river, and turn the river on its head and bring the old glory back, where the ghats are yet revived into thriving public spaces, where the river runs clean, becomes a place not just for festivities, but day in, day out for the citizens of that city. They can enjoy that river. For visitors to this city, they take away a slice of memory with them. So it was very important to turn that space around, as was the importance to turn other natural elements of that city, be it the kunds or the water reservoirs or the green green spaces, because these, I believe, become the main benchmarks or the anchors of a city. Thereabout, then you can go around creating a built environment. But unless you celebrate and recognize the importance of the natural environment in a city, I don't think you can create a great city.
So should we then look at Ayodhya, Dikshu, as the ultimate blend between, say, tradition, culture, because that's what Lord Ram and Ayodhya really represents, and the kind of modern approach to township, modern approach to town planning, or should I say modern approach to tourism or livability? Is it the ultimate example for you?
I think the endeavor has been very much that, Bhupinder. The idea has been that here is a city which, like I said, has so much cultural legacy, history attached to it, and it represents India and the whole country in so many ways, in so many shades. So why not that city also represents a modern, transformative, contemporary India, and we can show that how modernity and tradition can go hand in hand, and that too in a responsible, sustainable manner. Exactly, I think the things that our Honorable Prime Minister talks about. We are not here to ignore our history or our culture. We are not here to just be steeped in it and not be able to move into the 21st century. So I think, yes, to answer your question, I believe Ayodhya is a great example of how, when minds can come together, when a mission is before you, when a timeline is there, and all the stakeholders come in positively, you can actually transform a city for its best.
All right, Dikshu, let's leave it there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.